In the dust of ancient Greece, during an era where physical perfection was a virtue and war was an art form, every movement had a purpose. Every exercise was in preparation for something. And in this world of discipline and violence, a game was born. Not a game of graceful kicks, but of brutal throws and strategic holds. A game of raw combat. This was Episkiros, the ancient ancestor that chose a different path. While Tsuju perfected the art of the foot, and the Mesoamericans worshipped the hip, the Greeks built a game of hands, strength, and sheer force. Episkiros, which roughly translates to the common line game, was played between 12 to 14 players. They faced each other across a central line called the skiros, with another line behind each team. The objective was simple yet demanding: get the ball past the opposing team's back line. Players could throw the ball or run with it, but the real game happened with the brutal scrums that formed around possession. There were no limits on physical contact. Holding, wrestling, and tackling were all part of the strategy. Ancient writers describe it as a game with great skill and violent effort. It was less about elegant footwork and more about raw power, strategic thinking, and the ability to withstand pain, the perfect preparation for the phalanx warfare that defined Greek combat at that time. When Rome conquered Greece, they adopted and adapted this brutal game, creating a new game called Harapastum, named for the small hard ball that was snatched during play. The Roman version was even faster, more violent, and perfectly suited to training the world's most effective military machine. Where the Greek game had larger teams, Harapastum was typically played with 5 to 12 players per side and on a smaller field. This created a more intense, personal, and violent combat experience that mirrored the Roman emphasis on individual legionary skills within unit cohesion. The great physician Galen praised Harapastum as the greatest sport because it exercised every part of the body simultaneously. He noted that it required great speed, precision, and strategic thinking, qualities essential for a legionary in battle. For Roman soldiers, Harapastum was serious training disguised as recreation. The constant grappling built strength needed for hand-to-hand combat, and the quick changes of direction mimicked the chaos of battle. The strategic deception taught soldiers to outthink their opponents. Ancient accounts describe players ending up on the ground with scrums, neck holds, and deceptive passes being common tactics amongst players. The Roman writer Athenaeus specifically mentioned the game's numerous shifts and tricks and the violent exercises that left participants covered in dirt, sweat, and bruises. This wasn't a sacred ritual like in Mesoamerica, or an elegant art form like Tsuju. This was pure, practical military training. Every scrum was a lesson in maintaining the formation under pressure. Every stolen ball was practice for seizing opportunity in combat. As the Roman Empire fell, the legacy of Harapastum did not disappear. It evolved into the chaotic mob football games of medieval Europe. For centuries, villages across England and Europe played games that mixed kicking and handling the ball in equal measure. The tension between factions who preferred either handling or kicking the ball finally came to a head in the 19th century. In 1863, the Football Association was formed and made definitive choices: no hands. This created a rift that formed two separate sports: soccer, and for those who preferred handling the ball, formed the Rugby Football Union. And so, the ancient debate was settled, not by eliminating one tradition, but by creating two new sports. The graceful footwork of Tsuju found its home in Aesok. The brutal strategic handling of Episkiros and Harapastum lived on in rugby. In our next episode, we witness the chaos and clash that would ultimately give birth to the modern game. From village greens to the halls of Cambridge, we'll explore how football finally became the beautiful game. Thank you and see you next time.